My name is Don McMillan. As you guys know, I've been in your class for a few weeks now. I did my presentation for psychology on identity and protective cognition. First things first, identity of who you are, the fact of being who or what a person or thing is, self-viewed or expressed by others. Basically, what you're taught, how you experience it, and your own interpretation of it. So basically, if you've been raised either into religion, how you dress, the type of music you listen to, that all becomes who you are as a person. And every effort subconsciously, consciously is done to protect those belief systems, whether how you see yourself or others. And then that would be under coping defense mechanisms. Now, for identity and protective cognition as a whole, refers to the tendency of culture diverse. That's a very long thing. It's basically just why you believe in what you believe in, and then if you agree with others and what they believe in, and if they agree with you. And then we get internal reactions based off of if somebody disagrees with us, and then we also get the same if we disagree with somebody else. So simple things, look where you sit in class. Why do you sit there? You know we don't have a seating chart, right? It's not high school. Like we're in college now. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying like look at the comfortability of where you guys have sat since we started this class. People walk around their phones. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, or maybe you're the ones doing it, but I remember walking past an entire hallway, both sides completely filled, everyone's just staring down at their phones instead of just talking to each other. Right? That's part of our identity now with social media and how technology is kind of taking over everything, but I don't understand why we can't just initiate conversations. That'd be pretty nice, but it's part of our identity now. Mere exposure effect. So this is the reason why you know what you know. We went over this. So any little thing you've been exposed to, whether the first song you've heard that maybe like EDM music or rap music, or if you're raised to know different types of religion, politics, any type of culture, and basically where you're at geographically. Everyone's predisposed to act like those they're exposed to. Parents, we've taught you since you were born, or if they were absent, they had somebody else teach you. And then friends, people in class, around your own social environment, and then peers, people in your actual class. And then we develop a preference solely based off of what we've been exposed to. So, say, one for me is military. So I used to be really like late going and kind of go with the flow, and the military kind of trained me not to do that. So I got comfortable with how the military trained me to be, and that was my normal. So if you guys, a lot of people who aren't military wouldn't be able to understand that, but it's also okay. But yeah. And then, why do you believe in the religion you believe in? Not saying it's wrong, not saying it's right either. But you could have been raised in a Catholic home, Jewish home, Buddhist, Christianity. And then why do you choose to hang out with people that you choose to hang out with? Do they have similarities to you? Do you have differences that you think is actually cool, we want to learn from? And then politics, gender constructs, sexuality. So how many of you guys are Republicans, Democrats? Republicans, I don't know if you guys registered. Alright, Delaware kind of thing. Alright, Democrats. Alright, anybody individual? What's it called? Individual, right?
Independent.
Anybody independent? How many people just don't vote? Gender constructs. So how many people believe there's only two genders, male, female? Alright. Okay. And then sexuality, how many people believe there's how many sexual preferences do you guys think there are? Like bi, gay, straight? Three? Meaning what?
Both gay or straight?
Bi, gay, straight, bi.
Okay, well, like pansexual.
Nope.
Nope.
Those don't exist.
Nope. They don't exist?
Nope.
Why? Somebody created them, so now they have to, just at some point. There's their own belief system to other people.
Wait, what is pansexual?
Pansexual
I'm sorry.
is liking male and female but not having a certain preference to one or the other. I know that sounds like bi in a way, but they have other things like, you ever heard of sapiosexual? Where you're attracted to intelligence. There's many different versions of like sexuality, but that's fine. Most people aren't exposed to it. That's exactly why that's up there. And then we have something called, I believe this is severe exposure effect. So if you're merely exposed to something just once, if you're repetitively exposed to it, it becomes part of your culture and who you are. It could be either bad or good. So lack of proper interpretation of it. So if someone teaches you like me teaching this, I guess. If you take one little piece of it and it's something you disagree with or agree with, then that's enough to be severe for you. Being exposed to too many different interpretations of one subject matter actually hinders the way for us to apply it. So if you're taught how to think or act in school by multiple different people, your peers tell you to kind of act out or whatever, but your parents tell you just like sit down and shut up, then that kind of changes your viewpoint on it. And then if you just think about it, why are feminists deemed an issue by males? You guys know what feminism is? Yeah? What is it? Anybody know the definition of feminism? Yeah, I mean, it's your own interpretation of it.
It's like a push for the female rights, I guess, and equality between genders. I mean,
But it's equal rights for all genders, basically everybody. So if you guys know who Martin Luther King Jr. is, he was technically a feminist. And we see in the news and everything like how feminists are like doing this crazy stuff, like they like hate males, and so that's not at all what feminism is. But that's, I don't know why they do that. But it's just equal rights for everybody. So if you believe in that, you're technically a feminist. The only difference is feminists are, it's a female activist group that created that term. But why does social media affect us? Like why do we have Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter? Why do we need all that? You guys know?
To keep in contact with everyone.
That's what it was initially for. What do people
What
use
does
it for
people
now?
do during the day? I
Yeah.
put stuff on Snapchat.
Exactly. Exactly. Why do we have extremists in religions? If you guys know anything about certain religions, I believe Christianity.
Moral, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
It keeps people in check, it keeps me in check, I mean, that's why I'm a good person. Well, I think I'm a good person.
There's nothing wrong
Well, I'm
with
just grumpy today,
that.
but.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. No, like, what's the main extremist that we see in religion now? Like, in today's society, what's our extremist that we are noticed from in, like, the media or whatever?
Muslims.
Exactly. Do you guys know who the original extremists were?
Christian.
Correct, that's your statement. But,
No.
Yeah, really.
yeah.
I'll throw my people in.
Why did journalists believe historical fiction versus the truth? So, he said since we started here, he believes Columbus discovered America. I'm sure half you guys hopefully don't believe that, but does anybody still believe that?
Yeah, that's what that's what they said.
Yeah, how many things have been taught in school that were actually wrong?
That's what I was taught in school. Yeah.
Yeah, I was taught the same thing in school, don't get me wrong. And then I started watching Adam and everything
More
still.
north,
But no, he didn't discover America. He actually discovered somewhere in like the Bahamas and murdered like a ton of people. He's a terrible person. But
Ooh.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah,
He did sail in the Bahamas.
You said that was your friend.
It is my friend. He told me about all these years, Chris.
so to protect our identities, there's something called the backfire effect. It's actually something it's a design flaw in us. So if I tell you that your religion is wrong, you're initially gonna feel like, no, I'm right. Like you're gonna get angry about it, and that's what it is. It's actually, well, that too, but it's, if you are told a fact to somebody, like if you say 2 + 2 is 4, some people won't go in religion. If you say 2 + 2, you're gonna say what, 4, right? That's what we're all taught. You guys ever heard of the chaos theory? Makes it whatever number you want. But if you tell somebody against what they believe in, they're actually gonna have a stronger belief in that misconception. So if you tell somebody that their religion or their politics or their viewpoints are completely wrong, they're gonna believe in it even more, no matter how many facts you throw at them, to protect their identity. And then discover America, as we went over. Do anybody believe that women are less than men?
No.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I know for Delaware, I'm studying that Delaware as a whole believes that women are less than men, and actual like they still have segregation for like African Americans, which I think is kind of ridiculous. But does anybody still think segregation isn't existing? Or they got rid of it? You think they got rid of it?
No.
Yeah.
It's not even remote.
Legally.
Yeah,
No, affirmative
it's
action
still around
is
all the time.
segregation, so.
And why?
Hmm?
Do you know why?
What?
Segregation doesn't exist versus still happening, and why? So you guys are saying that it's still here. Why is it still here? I thought we abolished it, or we got rid of it. What part of life and society that you believe is segregated?
Culture.
What still is this?
Culture. Yeah, culture.
Not a majority of it, but
Culture.
for what?
For like, okay, okay, well, I'm white and black, so I kind of have the best of both worlds. But like, honestly,
Okay.
so the culture of like, I don't know, like some things my one side of my family does, and then my other side of the family doesn't. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. My main thing against that would be like tell that to a police officer. I know that sounds terrible to say, but I mean like That would be one thing that's their issue. Like, you guys heard in the news about the, was it black security guard that just saved all those people and got shot by the police as he showed up? That's ridiculous. Like, he just helped you guys and then now he's gone. But, and then why do we react this way? Mostly just a defense mechanism to keep our beliefs in check, to make sure that we're comfortable in our mental and emotional state, so that it doesn't create a physical reaction, which would be the cortisol release for stress. Defense mechanisms: use mental projections of our own beliefs and life itself to try to maintain our own truth. We have a mental homeostatic hormone and chemical release. So we have serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine. Have you guys ever been bullied in school growing up?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how did that change to who you are now? It's like, how were you before you were bullied?
No, I always been bullied.
You were always bullied?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. How does it affect you now? Does it make you stronger?
Yeah, I don't take no stuff.
Good, alright. You ever talk to someone who doesn't believe what you believe in?
Yes.
Yes.
What happened?
My parents.
Did it start an argument?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they like are passionate that like I'm wrong and they're right.
Okay, but how did you react? Did you do the same thing?
Yeah.
I just listen to someone. I mean, I just let them talk.
Okay.
Let them hear themselves.
Why is it humans are so stubborn about their factual realization instead of being okay with being wrong, or at least accepting others' ideals as possible?
In society, it's a bad thing to be wrong, it's bad thing to get bad grades, to not have the right answer.
Yeah, school taught us that taking a test makes you know something. That's that complete, like that's bullshit, but anyway.
Oh, you're on camera.
That's fine. No, I mean, think about it. All the classes you take and you guys have multiple choice things, how much of that stuff do you actually remember?
None.
It's really just happens to me.
None.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we get graded on our intelligence based off of just taking like pencil markings.
I don't remember anything from high school.
That might be so good.
For being wrong and not being okay with it, like different views, like if you're a Democrat versus Republican, could you have a conversation with them and not get angry? Or see both sides and be like, you know what, they're actually right. But
Yeah.
there's certain ways that you could bring them together and make them better. Or like religion, how you say you just listen to people. Like, I don't believe in any one religion, I believe all religions are true, and I believe all of them are also not true, so it's like kind of my own confirmation bias. But it's still nice to listen to people and hear what actually that goes on, so then you're at least less ignorant. But natural reactions, basically just getting mad if somebody tries to correct you, fight or flight response. And we get angry and defensive, aftermath remain unopen to their, or unless we remain open-minded to their viewpoints. Why defend religious views? For our own coping mechanism, helps us out, makes us feel better. Why do we feel amped during a debate? We feel we can win even though we're actually wrong. Why do we predispose to defending belief we don't even really understand ourselves? So, how many people are religious here? Okay. How much of it have you studied? Okay. Would you be able to stand up and make a defense against other people on it?
Me?
Yeah, I'm just saying as a
Most
whole, like,
likely
use
not.
3 that raise your hand.
Most likely not.
Okay. Would you want to?
Probably not.
Okay.
I want to study more, you know?
Yeah. Why don't you then?
It's really just never come to mind, I guess. I don't know.
Then why believe in it?
It's a good question. It's a really good question.
And look around, you sit in class, what you wear, how you act in society versus in private. I think the ultimate test on how people actually is, for like their identity as a character, is give them ultimate, like unlimited rules, or not unlimited rules, let them do anything without any rules and see how they actually act. Like how he tells us we don't have to wear whatever we want for our presentation. I still dressed up because I was taught to always dress up for presentations. That's always what I did. What led you to make these choices? Reason more social normality that we all submit to more than you think. So obviously, like, have you ever guys read the rule book here? I haven't, but I don't think it says anything about wearing clothes. We could all just show up naked, but we choose not to. Obviously, societal standards, but without saying anything, look around at people that you guys have in the classroom. Look where you sit. How many of them would you actually have a conversation with? And the whole biological innate attraction to physical appearance, that's basically judging a book off its cover, but it's something that we all do naturally. And then it comes from our nature versus nurture, how we were taught. And then, why didn't you talk to people that you talked to in this class? why did you? Is it off of like your own belief systems, just because they sit too far away, just because you're comfortable with where you are right now?
I talk to everyone.
Okay. You still sat in that spot. You could have sat anywhere in the class each day.
Oh,
and
I
talked
make
to new
my
people.
rounds. I talk to
Oh, okay.
freshman times, and I talk to Genesis, and, you know,
Okay.
I'm a friendly person.
Alright. Yeah, I don't have to answer that. It's more rhetorical than anything, but
Oh.
go ahead.
Sometimes we don't talk to people if we know that they have an opposite viewpoint than ours because we feel they won't get anywhere, then that's not progressing anything forward, but models don't do that.
Correct. Alright. Now, knowing all this, would you guys have talked to anybody, anything different? You guys have tried to initiate a conversation with somebody else in this class? You don't have to answer that part, but just food for thought, really. How it applies to everyone. So, I directed glances in your room. So, the people you look to, as I told you to look around, you look around and think, I could have talked to them, or I still wouldn't talk to them. Still don't have to answer that, it's just more rhetorical. But we're always almost going to react in a defensive manner, things that go against our own belief systems. Why do you initiate minor confrontations? How do we have enough information to make a credible argument? Like you said, with religion, you don't know much. We're not saying you don't know much. You agree that you didn't know that much about it, so you wouldn't be able to hold an argument if somebody tried to bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we defend ourselves if we already have our own belief systems in place? So if somebody tells you that they're wrong, but you already believe something, why even initiate it? If you already have your own beliefs, just let it all go. I mean, not the beliefs, but like what they say to you. Have you ever been told you were wrong, got upset about it immediately? Most of us, yeah. So I'm going to test this theory on you guys. You can read that if you want some more just kind of comic relief. But the following slides is going to be class participation. Either it's going to be internal and external feelings you might have. So it's going to test your own belief systems. So look at the photo on the left. You guys don't have to answer this if you don't want to. It's more internal reactions for your emotional kind of feel. How many people think the photo on the left is wrong? I have all the photo on the right. What if I told you that they were both right? What if I told you they were both wrong? Because to them, what they're doing is right. To them, what they're doing is right. But to them, what they're doing is wrong, and vice versa. How about this one? Female activists basically trying to defend their own bodies against, I don't know if you guys have seen this, about people like people who rape women, they basically get off with almost nothing. I don't know how that happens, but does it upset you that women want to have rights, basically? Or does it upset you that males can get away with raping women and nothing happens? So, both of them, again, are right and wrong. Because to them, they're doing what they're doing is right. To them, what they're doing is right because, I guess, spur in the moment. But they're also, could be both wrong, viewed from different people. There's males that think that females should be less. So, this one's for drugs. So I don't know if you guys know about prescription drug. There is 7 million that abuse drugs every year that are actually legal. And you have illegal drugs that actually have medical benefits that are allowed to be studied. Are you guys more okay with that one or that one? This one you can answer since it's just drugs. It's just drugs. I mean, we all take them. So, which one do you agree with more? Legal or illicit drugs? Basically. Illicit?
Not legal. I mean,
No, we have an
I've seen
epidemic
how,
in
like-
Delaware. That started
I
from
mean,
that.
I've seen how like Percocets and all that stuff can ruin someone's life, so I'd rather like someone like take shrooms and like do acid and smoke weed than freaking
Funny how you
take
do it with work.
Percocets and stuff.
No, I'm kidding. No, that actually is a good point. But I mean, we actually taking any prescription medications that were addictive?
You get a wisdom tooth out, they give you like really strong
Really?
prescriptions.
Okay. How many people were raised to hate illicit drugs? I mean, we had DARE that obviously failed when you were in school, but your parents ever tell you like those drugs are bad? Or drugs are bad?
Yeah.
Or school they tell you drugs are bad?
No.
No?
No.
Hey.
Well, this is what I'm getting at. You're raised in a society to believe that this is correct instead of this, when both of these have equal, if not, these probably have a little bit better medicinal qualities, but they're just not studied. One more. Actually, just two more. So I don't know if you guys ever seen like wanted photos, like the FBI's most wanted, or an obituary, or a missing persons. Do you guys get an initial like reaction when you see an obituary, even if it's not somebody you know? You're like, oh man, like that sucks. Or a wanted, you're like, oh, they probably did something terrible. Like you should get that guy. Or a missing person, like, well, we need to get them back. Can you imagine if you had the same photo? Imagine, I guess that doesn't make sense. But imagine his photo on a missing person report, an obituary, and a wanted poster. How would your reactions be to the same photo of the same person for each one? Even if you didn't read about it. Just because it says wanted, or just because it says missing, or just because it's an obituary. It's all the same person, but how do you guys usually feel from obituaries? Even if it is something that you know. You get initial like sad reaction, right? You miss them. Missing persons, you gotta get them back unless you, right? Yeah. And then the wanted poster, like that guy probably did something terrible, we need to get him out of here. But you didn't even read anything about it. You just saw wanted or missing. So next time read into them sometimes, they're actually pretty interesting. Last reaction. The whole conspiracy about the government looking into our conversation stuff. We had a guy, Edward Snowden, who actually is what created encryption. He found out that the NSA and all of them were actually able to tap into phones. So, but does anybody not believe that they can do that? You didn't know that?
No, like it just
Oh.
reminded me of this thing. This guy, I forget where it was. He like proved that the cameras on the lights were
Yeah.
like fake or not fake, but they were like they were basically trying to rip you off and stuff. They were flashing too early and stuff like that, and they were putting them in lower to middle class environments and stuff like that. So he used like a painter's thing, and then after he had like told his town about it and stuff like that, a security camera got set up outside of his house. And then like I guess he like spray painted it, and then I guess he ended up cutting the wires to the lights and stuff like that, and now the government's trying to get him. So watch out.
Nice. The government's still trying to get him. He's kind of sanctioned up in Russia still. But yeah, I mean, if you guys ever just not worried about it, like you don't care if the government's watching you or not,
No.
not even exposed to it, because you're not doing anything that you think would need to be right. And then basically proving conspiracy theories. Most people believe in conspiracy theories, all that crazy stuff like the moon landing being fake, which is ridiculous. But so that's the last one. Overall, with some of our experience of what we were taught and how we interpret them based on our senses at the time, how will the severe exposure to such events create a belief system, personally with each of us? How did you react to what was just told to you? You guys feel any different? Did anybody get angry at anything that I was trying to explain to them?
No,
Did it go against anybody's beliefs?
no.
Really? Alright. What psychological event transpired through this presentation that you agreed with or wanted to be curious about and interrupt me, if any? Nobody questioned anything? You guys just all believe that what I just told you was true?
Absolutely.
Really? I could just made all this stuff up.
You did a good job.
What's
I
up?
think that there was quite a bit of bias on a few of the
Of course, it's my identity, but go ahead.
exposures. There's
The exposure effects?
Yeah.
What's the
Just
bias?
the language you used was very like one-sided usually.
Okay, what would you have?
I mean, I agreed with it, but it wasn't. But for a
Was it not explained enough? What do those photos do to your internally? Anybody get a negative reaction? You don't have to raise your hand, but anybody have a negative reaction to any of those photos? Left or right? Or a positive reaction to those photos, left or right? Data protected cognition is what keeps us continuing to be who we are, and it always will. The never-ending updating of information with our beliefs. It's constantly feuding with or conversely defending itself in some way, shape, or form.
Very good, Don.